Karen Fleck, would you like to talk about the food drive?
Yes, this Saturday is the food drive starting at 9 o'clock, and I've had a few people kind of drop out, so if anybody can help out, you know, the 9 o'clock shift, we need another person, and Mary Alice said she was coming, but she didn't sign up, so I'm not sure if she's coming or not, so I can always use an extra hand there if you're able to do that. Go out on the website and sign up and get your name on the list.
Yeah, if you haven't done this before, it's a lot of fun. You get to know your fellow Rotarians very well.
Yeah,
And,
it's a good chance to get to know the people that you're working with on the shift. So it is a fun event, and it's not a huge commitment. So.
And if you're ever feeling bad about society, go do a food drive. It'll reaffirm your faith in humanity because there's a lot of people that are just so very generous.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this Saturday, right? King Soopers at the Arapahoe and
Parker
Road.
Yep. 9 o'clock. And 9, 10, and 11, we have 3 shifts. Thanks.
An entire shift is just 9 to 12, right? I mean, both shifts. Yeah.
Stick around.
All right. I want to let you guys, or remind you guys that district conference is the 27th of this month. If you want to go, the deadline for registration is this Friday. Okay? But it's the 27th. It's one day, and they jam-pack a lot of stuff in one day, believe me. Ann West, would you like to speak about Meals on Wheels?
Yes, I will, very briefly. Yesterday I sent out an invitation, and I'm going to have to do some kind of award for the first person who jumps on that, because Doug has been in the past, at least the first for the last few times. This time it was Kathy Smith who signed up. Now, this is for all the month of May. It's a little bit on the long month because we have 5 opportunities. I want to also put in a good word for Doug. This past Friday, Vern was supposed to go, and then at the last minute, his boss said, no, you have to be at a meeting on Friday morning. So I've always said, call me, because I live a mile away from there. Unfortunately, Friday morning, I was feeling not so great. So I called Doug, and he did it, and he said it went fine, but he needs the acknowledgement that he ended up going without any assistance. So if you're a Meals on Wheels person, please look at your email, sign up, and I really appreciate the efforts of my team.
Thanks, Ann. Thank you, Doug. All right, Cheryl, would you like to talk with us about teen suicide prevention?
Good morning. On Sunday, I went to Arapahoe High School for their Out of the Darkness walk for teen suicide prevention, and it was very touching. I worked with young people for like 27 years out of my life as a school counselor, and it's just so encouraging to see so many great kids out there walking for such a great purpose. I made some little yellow cards for you, and I hope that you will put the Colorado Crisis Services in your phone in case you might ever need it. And I hope that you would take one of these cards. You never know when you could hand it out to someone. You never know when that one action could literally save someone's life. Sadly, our teen suicide rate in Colorado is twice as high as the national average. One more time, our teen suicide rate is twice as high as the national average. Why, you may be thinking, well, that's a long explanation, and it depends on who you talk to. But it doesn't stop the heartache. And so what we can do is what we're doing. And so I'm going to walk around and just give out these little yellow cards I made that have the phone number for the Colorado Crisis Services and the website. So your loved ones, a neighbor, a family friend, You never know when this information might literally save someone's life. My last year as a middle school counselor, I came within an hour of losing a student to suicide. By the grace of God and luck, I caught it. But man, does that shake you up. I wish Carmen was here so I could thank her. I don't think you can know what her days are like unless you've walked in her shoes. So I'll walk around and give out these cards. If ever, and I mean this, you need to call me and ask me a question, explain a situation, and get my suggestions. It will be confidential, and I'm more than happy to help in any way I can. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Mr. Weber, would you like to come up front, please?
Uh-oh. Now you're in trouble. Uh-oh. What'd I do?
Grab a microphone. Grab a microphone. There you go. Tell the group what you did, what you have.
So I have started attending a new Rotary club in Mexico City. It's called the Club Chapultepec. Chapultepec means caterpillar in Spanish. But there's a big park with a big castle that the president of Mexico used to live in, and so they gave me a banner and they wanted me to swap banners with the club. They have asked me if we can partner on different kinds of projects, etc., and so we're looking for ideas and ways we may be able to do something between Mexico and Denver. So
Sounds good.
yeah, so
Thank you very much.
banner, you bet.
Appreciate it. Ex-member. John? Okay, with that, are there any travel gifts? Yes, sir.
For those who like to travel around Colorado and are curious about our history, I've got Roadside Geology of Colorado as a gift.
All right. Any other travel gifts? All right. Roxy. Oh, we do. Okay. I didn't see you waving.
I know I'm short. Well, I think you didn't see me because that. Okay, so I was in Utah on a camping and hiking trip last couple weeks. And so I brought back, it's a puzzle that has the iconic pictures of the Big Five in Utah. The Big Five being Zion, Bryce, Capitol Reef, Arches, and Canyonlands. I visited all of those except Canyonlands, so I visited 4 of the Big Five. Might be good, to get your grandkids interested in, the Southwest, the desert,
Yeah. Beautiful
camping. And so then I also got this very interesting book. It is called An Illustrated Guide to the Movies and Their Locations, Cinema Southwest. And it's very interesting. It's got, you think of the landscapes, the pinyons, the mesas, the dunes, the red rocks and the dirt. And you think of John Wayne and all of, so it's got, it's Southwest, but also think about Jarhead. That was a movie that you'll find in here. Some of those movies that you don't really think of as being like the Southwest. Think of the Stanley Hotel and Jack Nicholson. Colorado is also included in this book. Also some focus on actors. Which movies made it to the Academy Awards and all that. So it's a very interesting little book. I'm sure I'll be buying it back.
Thank you. Roxy, are you doing the Happy Bucks today?
Tim, can I make Tim?
Yeah.
I just wanted to remind everyone that we are having an off-site meeting next week.
Oh, I have that on my list.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got you covered.
Okay.
Go ahead, Roxy.
Okay, today we have Happy Bucks. I'm going to start up over here, and we do have a trivia question for Happy Bucks. This is an easy trivia question, presidential trivia question, and we might have even had it before. So everyone should guess it. There are 4 presidents that have won the Nobel Peace Prize. So the way this works, if you want to have a guess, you can put in $1. If your guess is right, you get to keep the $1, and I will put in my $1. So do we have any happy bucks at this table or guesses? Okay.
I'm giving a happy 5. Part of the reason is because we gutted our master bath and it's finally finished. And I no longer have to live out of cardboard boxes in the other bathroom, which is really good. And also, I was picked to be on a task force for the Trails Recreation Center. And in June, we're going to be deciding, we've had 2 meetings already, and we will be deciding if the mill levy is to be raised for Centennial and Aurora. So once we have our final meeting, obviously it has to go to vote, but there is the possibility that the mill levy will be raised. I'll keep you posted.
Okay, I have a happy buck. We are, today is Rotary Day. Deborah and I are starting out with you guys this morning, and then we're going to Lakewood Foothills Rotary Club for lunch. They're supposed to have a gourmet meal there. They're real out of their kitchen, I guess. And we're the presenters or the speakers for the event for that today.
Thank you. How about you, Don?
Yeah, I'll have to get you the 5. Got it there, I'll bring it to you. IOUs? No, I've got $5 in my billfold, yeah. I've got $5, and it's for polio. So far this year, we're only 1 ahead of where we were last year, which is remarkable. The other important thing is, and I went on polio eradication website yesterday, Pakistan has had 6 cases this year, whereas at this time a year ago, they only had 1. Afghanistan, surprisingly, has only had 1 so far this year. And in the last issue of the Rotarian, there was a very interesting article by Michael McGovern, had an interesting statement in there. After the polio vaccine was created, it took 20 years to eradicate polio in the U.S.
Thank you. Anybody at this table?
It's Tuesday, and I'm delighted to be here with you all.
Cheryl.
Barack Obama, the Nobel Peace Prize. Okay. And I am truly, truly grateful for all of you and the board and the Rotary Foundation for approving a funding for Kids Around the World playground in Beirut, Lebanon.
You're welcome.
I'm happy to be back here. I was down in Belize last week, and I was impressed at the Rotary Club there that relatively small dollars can accomplish a lot. Their club donated $3,500. They have like 18 members, but $3,500 bought them a whole fire truck for their fire department, which was so necessary. I said, how is that possible? But through Rotary and through careful connections, you can do a lot. So I was impressed.
Anybody else here? Okay. How about over here? Barbara.
Just good to be back. Had a good tax season, but I'm glad to have some free time now. So.
God, you're sober. I can't believe it.
Well, I haven't been here for 2 months, so that kind of.
Did you hear that, Barbara? John Peterson said you're sober and he can't believe it.
Yeah, I know. Last night. How about here? Hey.
All right, just happy Tuesday.
So I have $1. This is a gratitude dollar. Just a reminder that no matter what happens, wherever you are in life, always be grateful of all the things that you do have.
Okay. You have a presidential answer?
Teddy Roosevelt. I'm going to guess Jimmy Carter. And Eisenhower? No.
So you do only one. Okay, and then you you have one more.
Oh, for Scott DeWitt, our guest today.
So you will change. Okay, I'll calculate it later. Okay, John Barry.
I've got a proxy buck for my lovely wife because her boy, Martin Truex Jr., won Saturday night.
Woohoo! Over here. Trip.
I've got one. This is a great story. Last week, I was invited to see that Hello Dolly by John Lundberg, who you guys might have met at the event, our meeting last week, or 2 weeks ago. But completely out of the blue, he invited my wife and I, and we had dinner and met at Hello Dolly. We sat down somewhere around the 9th row, plopped down, we're getting comfortable, and daggone if John Holzman, right there, didn't come down and sit literally right next to us. If that isn't the funniest karma you've ever seen. That was worth $1.
6 degrees of separation.
I've got $5. One is for Trip. Thank you for the festivities on Saturday that you're planning. I appreciate it. You can just keep all 5, Roxy. Keep all 5. And I'm anxious to see Raphael's presentation.
Whoops. I have $1. This is a pre-happy buck, and that's the happy buck for how well the state of the city is going to go tomorrow.
Okay, one last table. Who do we have over here? It's Bruce. No, Brad.
Yes. I got 5 happy bucks. First, I wanted to thank CASA for the tax donation you gave me when I did my taxes. You submitted it yesterday. I do want to give them a shout out. They have a really attractive tax donation where for every $1 you give them, it only actually costs you like 30 cents, because the state of Colorado gives you a 50-cent tax credit. So that's off 50 cents right there. And then you get a tax deducted dollar for dollar on the rest. So I encourage you to look into that. The second $1 is to my wife. She celebrated her 39th birthday for the second time a couple weeks ago, serendipitously, and to try to ease the burden, I took her to Aspen last week. So I've been, or this past weekend. So I've been in Colorado for 39 of my years, and I've been in 46 states and 5 countries, but never been to Aspen before, so check that off the box. So that was cool. Third buck is for Barb. Welcome back. I barely recognized you. Good to have you back. Also, I don't know if you're watching Channel 7 News this weekend, but caught our former president, Nicole, the librarian, on television. And so she was doing a plug for a children's book and getting children reading by kindergarten. So, and then last but not least, I've been doing this financial planning thing, willy-nilly for the past 13 years, and I guess I can't wing it anymore. So I went ahead a year ago and started putting my head down to get certified, and as of last week, I'm certified financial planner now.
Congratulations. Well, I have $1 left, and my buck is, somebody else had a buck. Never mind.
That's all right. No, just looking forward to attending my first State of the City event. That sounds great.
Okay, my one remaining buck was just a sad buck for watching Notre Dame burn yesterday. So, and John, Tim, and oh gosh, I can't believe I've missed dollars here.
This is a happy buck for the 2 Colorado teams that have won 2 in a row, the Avalanche and the Rockies.
Don't go away. Grab your microphone. All right, I have 2. One is for our returning guests. Thanks for coming. And the other is State of the Union, or State of the City, will be over tomorrow. Okay?
And you'll get to speak.
Exactly. Roxy, would you like to talk about our meeting next week at Coble?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Next week at Coble Library, our presentation is going to be about our foundation. And one of the parts of that meeting is an election for foundation members who would start their term in 2019-20. And we had 3 incumbent members who were going to put their hat in the ring, and no one else has at this point. However, one of those people was Eric Nielsen, and Eric's been deployed. So Eric is no longer going to be on the ballot. So we do need at least 1 or more people who have an interest in serving on the foundation board to please contact me so I can get your names on the ballot and for next week so we can have a vote. The other thing is that we need as many people as possible at that meeting. And it's an off-site meeting, so it's a little bit of a challenge, but we have to have a quorum to be able to have this vote and have the vote be legitimate. So if everyone would please make an effort to please be at the off-site meeting, and also encourage anyone who has an interest in serving in the foundation. The commitment is we meet once a month, the same as the club board, and we mainly look at grants, and we also have a group that award a scholarship. So that would be it. Did I miss anything, Tim?
I don't think so, except we do have to have one more person, right? Don't we have to have someone else on the ballot?
Yeah, that's what I.
Yeah, I know. I just want to make sure that everybody understands we have to have an additional person on the ballot, because we did have 3 members that were willing to serve next year, but now that Eric's gone, we have to have an additional person on the ballot.
If I don't hear from anyone, I will be reaching out. So, what? Oh, 4th president is Woodrow Wilson. Eric is being deployed to Africa.
Yeah, he's.
So Eric's in the National Guard, International Guard.
Reserves. He's in the reserves.
International Reserves.
Yeah.
And so he's this summer is doing all kinds of
training,
training and maneuvers, and then he leaves in September for
North Africa.
Is it North Africa?
Yeah.
Okay, North Africa.
Okay, that's it. What's that? We are ready for the speaker. Are you introducing the speaker? We are ready for the speaker, and I really don't think he needs an introduction, but Roxy, the floor is yours.
This is the Roxy Show today. It is with my pleasure, who needs not a lot of introduction, and I'm not going to tell you a lot about him because he's going to tell you a lot about himself, is Raphael Schmidt, our exchange student.
Okay.
Wait, can you hear me? Or yeah, that's my presentation about Switzerland and my life back there. But first I wanted to thank everybody who took me to events or just helped me with my exchange, with anything that I've been able to come over here. Just all the helpful people in this club, and I mean, I love the meetings in the morning, I love the breakfast, so yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I'll start off first with some basic facts about Switzerland. We are located in Central Europe, our capital is Bern, and we have 8.4 million inhabitants, but only an area of less than 16,000 square miles, which is less than 1/6 of Colorado, so you can see how small Switzerland is compared to the US. We were founded historically in 1291, but there was more like a confederation. You can compare it a little bit with the Articles of Confederation, and then our Federal Republic was founded in 1848, which is more like the Constitution, kind of the official country of Switzerland was founded back then. What's typical for Switzerland? There were a lot of stereotypes when I came over here, so I had it on my first. So chocolate, cheese, watches, mountains, and Heidi were kind of the stuff I heard. maybe banks, but yeah, that's pretty much it. But we have a lot of stuff in Switzerland we're famous for, and we're the only country in the world which have those. So for example, direct democracy. Switzerland, that's something pretty cool actually. If somebody has an idea or something for a law or something, he just needs to have 100,000 signings, and then he can give his idea to the government, and then people vote about it. And we also have a referendum, which if they don't like a law the government made, you can kind of challenge it, and then if you need only 50,000 signings and people vote about it. But therefore we have a lot of votings in Switzerland. We vote about 6 times a year, with about 24 to 30 federal voting or votes, and even more like state votes and county votes. So we are voting a lot, and I'm turning 18 when I'm coming back, so I have to do a lot of voting back there. Yeah, our government is pretty similar to the US, built up. We have a bicameral system too. One house is representing the states and one house is by population. Just our executive is pretty different, I would say, just because we're not having one president. We have 7 presidents, and all of those presidents have equal power. So it's like a wider representation. And we also have not a 2-party system. We have many different parties, and I think 7 or 8 are represented right now in our government. We also have 4 official languages, which is quite a lot for such a small country. We have 63% speaking German, and 23 speaking French. Those are the languages people know about. But we also have Italian in southern Switzerland, where only 8% speak it, and we have a 4th language called Romansh, which is in the mountains in eastern Switzerland. They spoke it for quite a while, but nowadays it's less than 1% speaking this language, but it still gets quite a lot of government funding that we don't lose this language. But we also have 7% don't speak those languages or don't have them as a mother language, just because we have a lot of immigration in Switzerland. We do have 25% of all people in Switzerland don't even have the Swiss passport, so that's quite a bit. What are we famous for? Independence. That's a big one in Switzerland. We're pretty proud of our independence. We're not a part of the European Union, as 1 or 2 countries in Central Western Europe. Yeah, I like it a lot, but that's from person to person. But Switzerland is really far away from going to the European Union, actually. We do have contracts with the European Union just for economy and education stuff, but we really, really try not to get into it. It's difficult for a direct democracy to get in this indirect democracy with different judges and stuff like this, because people always want to vote about stuff if they don't like it, and if the European Union says us we have to do something and we don't want it, it's kind of a problem. So, yeah. What else? We have neutrality. That's a pretty famous one. We were neutral pretty much our whole history. We never really attacked somebody or got attacked in war. But we are also not a part or not an active member of the NATO, because we can't attack somebody or support somebody in an attack as a neutral country. We are a passive member, so if we got attacked, we have support from the NATO, which is kind of funny. But yeah, we've never been in a war since our foundation in 1848, except this one time we got attacked by the US Airborne in World War II because they thought it was Germany. But I'm not surprised about that when I saw those geography skills over here. But yeah. We have a really good education system in Switzerland. That's pretty different, I would say, from here. We have only 9 mandatory years of school, not 12 like here. And after that, 75% almost do a internship program kinda. So they go to a company, work there for 3 to 4 days a week, and go to school for another 1 or 2 days. But that's more a little more like skilled, kind of specialized for the profession they're doing, and only about 25% even go to high school. But therefore, it's kind of it's a little harder because it's more like the people who really want to go to school another 4 years and really want to go to college. So the level in high school, I would say, is quite a bit higher. But I like the system a lot because it's open. If you do an internship and then you decide, oh, still want to go to college, you can do one more year of school, kind of get your basic stuff in you need to know. Maybe 2, it depends what you're doing as an internship, but then you can go to college, yeah, pretty much the same way as the people from high school do. And we also have not too many people going to college because of the system, which makes college, I mean, it's actually free, kind of. I mean, we pay taxes, so it's more like my parents paying. But it's free for me, so that's good. And yeah, we are not too many people at colleges, which lower the costs anyway. Yeah, and that helps our economy a lot because we have a lot of skilled workers in like non-academics sector, which is pretty useful, I think. And a last super typical one for Switzerland is public transport. We have the best public transport system in the world. We are world champions in being on train. We have spent the most time on a train for all countries, which is kind of cool. But yeah, we just have an amazing public transport system, which it's pretty easy because we're a small country, but still with all the mountains, we have those amazing railway bridges, tunnels. We actually have the longest railway tunnel in the world with almost 56 kilometers, and like over 30 miles. Whoa! It's like pretty much through the mountains. It's just kind of cool, and should connect Rotterdam to Genua, kind of both seas. But that's pretty cool. And there's something in Switzerland, you usually won't be able to go from every single village to every other single village within one day with public transport, and probably back. Yeah, and I also go to school with public transport, like pretty much everybody. Yeah, now we have some facts about me. Like I mentioned, I'm from Switzerland. I live in Murschwil. You can see it right there. It's really in the northeast. That's Germany up there. That's Austria. So yeah, really close to those countries. And yeah, for those who know Switzerland a little bit, I'm close to St. Gallen. That's like 15 minutes from my house. It's the next major city, and I live about now from Zurich, which is about here. Yeah, I'm 17 years old right now. I'm turning 18 September 24th. No, it's Swiss way to write dates, but yeah, September 24th, 2001 I was born. Yeah. That's a picture of my family. All the way on the left, that's my father. He's 54 right now. He's a lawyer. He's specialized kind of on acquisitions of major companies. And yeah, he played handball like I did, and pretty much our whole family. He was Swiss champions when he was young. So he was kind of the initiator for our like handball family, kind of. Then next to him is my mom. She turned 50 this year. She's a lawyer too, but specialized in Texas. She works for PricewaterhouseCoopers, if somebody knows it. Yeah, she was the one member of her family who never played handball. And yeah, in the middle is my brother. He's finished high school last year, and now is working for the bank UBS for an internship there before he has to do military service, and then he's going to college. He's quite a bit taller than I am, so it's kind of a cool fact. And yeah, he's playing handball too. And right next to me is my sister. She's 15, and she's in high school. I'm actually going to be the same grade as she will be, which kind of sucks because these 2 years younger, but it's fine. And she's playing handball too. She's probably the most talented one. She's a national team, our junior national team, and she's traveling all over Europe usually. for her games. Yeah, that's me. But I think I grew actually a little bit since I'm here. That's a picture of our house back in Switzerland. It's a one family house. It's built a little different than here. It's kind of, we don't really have those like kind of wooden, like all look the same houses kind of. It's a little different, but yeah, we have a garden, front yard, we have a backyard, we have a ping pong table. That's my room up there. Yeah, it's pretty cozy, but it's kind of big. And yeah, we have a garage, it will be around here. And down there is a lake. And we see Germany and Austria from our house here. So that's kind of cool. And yeah, I have to, when I go to school, I have to take the bus, which is about 15 minutes from my house. It's okay. But yeah, it's public transport. I have the season pass or year pass. It's fine. Yeah, that's pretty much it. My hobbies back in Switzerland, like I mentioned, handball is a big one in our family. I mean, for those who don't know what handball is, it's kind of like lacrosse and basketball mixed up. That is 2 goals you play on, but you bounce like the ball, like in basketball. It's not super famous here, but it's pretty big in Switzerland and Europe. Me and my whole family actually are also really big into skiing. We have a place up in the mountains in eastern Switzerland where we ski, I would say like almost 30 days a year. Yeah, my whole family is big into skiing. Like my grandparents already were, and they have also a place in the mountains in the same ski area. So usually almost our whole family meets up there for a Christmas break, which is a lot of fun, I think. We're also really big into hiking. We just love being out in the nature. We have actually another vacation flat or apartment in southern Switzerland where we hike a lot and just spend a lot of time with the family, and we also kind of give it away to other members of the family. Yeah, we have a pretty close relationship to our whole bigger family. We also live pretty close together, which is, I think it's really cool. And yeah, I played the drums too back in Switzerland. I wasn't able to play it here, but that's okay for me. Yeah, I played in a school band, percussion, drums, kind of. I'm not super focused on playing drums. It's just fun to be part of the band, go on all those trips. So yeah, and I'm doing a lot of other sports too. Like here, I tried out football and rugby here, and in Switzerland, I played a lot of soccer. I bike a lot, I swim, kind of just love doing sports and also watching sports. And yeah, well, and talk a little about my future in Switzerland. I have 2 more years of high school, so I don't get any credits over here. Yeah, it's okay, but I make the experience here. I have to do mandatory military service or a civil service for the country, or paying, but that's quite a bit. So I got into military service. I think it's okay to do it. It makes a man, we say in Switzerland. And yeah, then I go to college. It's probably going to be business or law, something in there. And if I do business, I want to do an exchange semester somewhere, maybe England or the US. Well, yeah, I don't know really yet. And I for sure gonna go to the US again next 5 years probably, and probably more than one time, and really want to meet up with you again at some point here. And yeah, when we are in the future, if you're ever in Switzerland, you have to meet up with me, or at least getting in touch with me. Just I can give you quite a bit of insider hints, kind of. Like my family, like we maybe heard out, we love making holidays in Switzerland. I still think it's the most beautiful country to make holidays in. So I know pretty much everything in Switzerland about tourism. Just I spend so much time there. And yeah, if you want to meet up, that's a lot of fun for sure. But if you just want to, like, I'm in Lucerne for 2 days. What is cool to do, just get in touch with me. Yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If now it's time for questions. You can also ask questions about my exchange here, not only in Switzerland, for sure. Tim?
How long is your mandatory military service?
It's a training of 21 weeks and then service of about the same. And then we have repeated every year to like 35 for 3 weeks. So total I would say maybe 80 weeks or something, maybe 90.
How would you compare the difficulty of the education system here in Switzerland?
I would just say in Switzerland is more like, and here it's more like general education for everybody. Kind of, everybody has the chance to do everything till it's like almost 18, and then he can decide college or not college, or even in college do something and then decide what to do. In Switzerland, we really focus during middle school about what do we want to do, like what different professions are there, and then we start to go into the direction with like 15, 16, we apply for the first job. And so it's more like skill-based and interest-based education at a certain point. And not like here, I would say it's more a general education that always are open, but many people complain about that they don't want to learn math all the way through high school, although they know they're going to do something with art or something. Yeah.
So you had talked about the laws and how they are, you have to vote and people can reverse the laws. Do you have a sense for how often laws get reversed?
Reversed, they get fairly often. Those new ideas were quite big a few years ago, but this legislative, none of them went through, just because they're getting more and more extreme, and yeah, they weren't really great ones. But we had a pretty big one who wanted to stop immigration from the European Union into Switzerland, and this one actually came through, but it was difficult, like, to finally make it happen, just because we had too many contracts with the EU. So now it's not 100% set through, kind of more like with, they try to make it, but it's not 100% possible. But the laws get reversed fairly often. If there is a party who doesn't like it, they can also make it as a party, the referendum.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, but also single people can do it.
Just a follow-up question on that too, about, you said there's 4 languages, 4 official languages. So when you have a ballot, is it in 4 different languages?
No, I don't think so. They send it out there. You get the ballot from your county, and if your county is officially German speaking, it's a German ballot, and if your county is officially Italian speaking, it's an Italian ballot.
I'd like to know, what do you have for breakfast in Switzerland?
Actually nothing.
So you'll miss breakfast here?
Yeah.
What's been your most memorable occurrence on your trip here?
That's a difficult one. Probably either a Broncos game, just because the stadium is so huge, or probably even playing in the Broncos stadium with our football team for a state championship. I would say that's probably the most memorable.
Your favorite food here in the U.S.?
Favorite food? I don't know what my favorite food is, but I never ate pizza back in Switzerland because I thought I don't like it, or I didn't like it when I was younger, and I started really liking it over here.
You said that in Switzerland the college is covered by the taxpayers. And so what, if you're a high school student and looking at college, what's to stop you from just going to the best, most expensive college? How do the ones that are second tier get filled up?
The thing is, usually you can go to college. I mean, high school is pretty hard. Usually, if you not have the good enough grades, which are way tougher to get in here, they just kick you out. I mean, every half a year we have kind of a cut, and if you don't have the certain grades, you go. Or you have to repeat. You have like one chance to repeat, but usually just go. And so usually people from high school already are pretty skilled, like academic people. And then that's the same in college, basically. The first year, they have a cut off a half year and after a year, and if you're not good enough, they kick you, and if not, you're good enough for this college. Except for medicine, if you want to study Medicine, we have a test, which is really difficult just because medicine is so expensive to study. And the taxpayer pay for it, so just the best in those tests are able to study medicine. Yeah.
Go ahead, Ann.
Here we are. You brought up something I was wondering about. Do they have essentially what I would call socialized medicine? If you go to the doctor, you have to pay.
We have mandatory insurance, but you pay for you can decide which company you want. You can pay like the amount you wanna have covered, but there is a certain amount you have to have covered by law, which is quite a bit, and you get support if you can afford it.
With education being covered by the government and social medicine, what is the average percent that Swiss people are paying in their taxes?
Oh, that's real different from state to state, but it's actually not as high as most other countries in Europe. But I know there are certain percentages, I think about between 30, 40 kind of total, but it depends really where you live.
And one more question too.
If you have a higher income, there is kind of you don't have to pay. You have to pay a lot, but it's not like an exponential graph. It's kind of like a curve, a bell curve, or something.
Okay, if we don't have any more questions, Raphael, thank you so much. And I do want to say your English has improved tremendously from the first time that you came. So that's great. Now don't go away. Now, you know, we donate books to a small library in North Denver, and there'll be a book plate like this in the next book that gets put in there, and that's for you, for your scrapbook.
Thanks.
All right. And then we have one other job for you. Who's got the blue marble? Here we go. Okay, you need to pull the winning ticket. No, he can look. He can look. That's all right. Just read the last three.
762. Oh, it's 762. Oh, it's 6902762.
762. And all right, now then you need to. All right, you need to put $10 in there.
I like that.
I got it for you.
All right, great.
We'll give you $10 in a minute. But.
I'm not too worried.
All right.
Both clear.
Both clear.
Both clear.
That's too bad. Here you go. Ann? Oop. There we go. That goes in the other bag.
Oh, those are good handball hands.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Raphael. Okay, just a reminder, next week, Coble Library. Alan?
I still have a couple of slots open for volunteers for the duties next week. So if I can get someone for the Blue Marble and possibly a business minute.
All right. And don't forget tomorrow's State of the City. If you want to have lunch, you're welcome to come. Just register online. $22, but it's a pretty good lunch, just so you know. So with that, would you please join me in the things we think, say, and do? Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? With that...